Hi, this is Bazi from Maslow Dizzy Classroom. In previous sessions, we already learned about the circulatory system in animals, especially in human beings. The another system which is originated from our blood vascular system and which is one of the reason for the balancing of nutrients, fluids, electrolytes, and also it acts as one of the powerful weapon against all the infections in our body, and which is the unseen hero of our anatomy, that is the lymphatic system. And it also maintain both cardiovascular as well as immune systems, and it maintains that the homeostasis of our body by retaining fluid back or diverted back into the blood stream. If it didn't, our ankles will swollen like a balloons, or our lungs may filled with fluids, or our blood pressure may drop at the point where our body should give up. We may die, but it didn't happen only due to this lymphatic system. How this lymph is originates? This is originates from where the capillaries of both arteries and veins join together to feed the tissues. The blood plasma is forced out of the arteries at capillary level, which are directly feeds into the interstitial spaces of the tissues, where this fluid is further retained right back drawn into the capillaries of the veins. About 20 liters of plasma fluid is flown through this almost all the arterial capillaries throughout the body, but only 17 liters of this fluid is drawn back through the venous capillaries, and remaining 3 liters remains in the tissue fluids. Officially we call it as the lymph. How this lymph is made up of? The lymph is nothing but a separate fluid which flows in a separate vascular system, that is lymphatic system, and it is a colorless liquid fluid connective tissue of blood. It doesn't consisting of RBC, platelets, or the plasma proteins, but its main purpose is to feed the tissues where the blood cannot reach, and it helps in the maintenance of the exchange of materials at the cellular level. This tissue fluid is drawn right back through the network of vessels. It forms a network of lymphatic system to reabsorb the fluid. It mainly consisting of the capillaries, vessels or ducts, or lymphatic organs. It may consisting of about 500 to 700 lymphatic nodes, where this lymph is screened and it should be cleaned at lymph nodes. The organs like the spleen, thymus, adenoids, and different types of glands which are distributed throughout the body and forming the network of lymphatic system. This lymphatic system resembling like veins, but the small difference is these lymphatic vessels have more walls when compared to these veins, and these walls we call as semilunar walls. And the lymphatic vessels are also made up of 3 layers or tunics, and these are 3 layers, that is tunica externa, tunica interna, and tunica media, that is external layer, internal layer, and middle layer. And these capillaries of the tunica, the capillaries of these lymphatic vessels are made up of flap-like endothelial cells. It is loosely connected flap-like endothelial cells, and it forms a flap-like walls at the capillary level to absorb the fluids. the pressure inside the tissues, that is due to osmotic pressure, this fluid enters into the capillaries and through these flap like structures of endothelial cells which acting as a wall. When pressure increases, this fluid enters these flap like cells are open to outside and fluid enters into these capillaries through osmotic pressure. When it enters into the capillaries, we officially call it as the lymph, and these flap like wall like cells are closed, and this lymph is collected to the larger vessels and then to the larger trunk and then to the lowest pressure points of our circulatory system directly into the bloodstream. In this manner, the lymph is connected to the blood vascular system and it is transported to mainly by two ducts, the right lymphatic duct and the left lymphatic duct. The right lymphatic duct is the smallest duct, whereas the left is the largest one in the body. The right lymphatic duct collected almost all the lymph from the body, from the right side of the body, the right side of the torso, that means the neck part, head part, arm part and thoracic part, and directly into the internal jugular vein of the blood vascular system. Whereas the left lymphatic duct, which is the largest, which collects all the lymph from the rest of the body and it is dropped into the subclavian vein of the circulatory system. In this manner, the lymph is added to the body. This is also plays very key role in the immune system. The lymphatic system produces the immune cells like lymphocytes. Mainly it are produced from the thymus and spleen, which produces the mature lymphocytes directly into the bloodstream to the lymphatic vessels into the lymph nodes. Whenever any pathogen or infection enters into the bloodstream, it mainly joins into the lymphatic system. Whenever this lymph passes through these lymph nodes where the lymph is screened and inspected, whenever any pathogen found in these lymph nodes, immediately they releases the macrophages by phagocytic action of WBC and it may prevents the infection. If it is not possible, it activates and triggers the outside of the lymphatic vessels into the blood vascular system and it leads to production of antibodies to protect us from the infections. If you see, if the lymph is not collected back into the blood vascular system, it may lead to more and more complications in our physiology of the body. Whenever if you take any long journey or overnight journey without moving in a sitting position, you can observe your soles may swell, especially you may find in your grandparents, and they may find the swollen legs. That condition we call as edema. And this lymphatic systems plays very important role in balancing, controlling and almost all the fluid present in our body, and it also plays a key role in the maintenance of pressure in our body. Whenever if any disturbances occurs within the body, especially if you are if you are facing any infection, especially your tonsils, like take some example during sore throat or swelling of tonsils and adenoids, all these things are nothing but infections to the lymphatic system. Here if you see the tonsils, that is nothing but cluster of lymph nodes. These are sensitive and they are connected to the mucosal layers and which we call MALTs officially, mucosal associated lymphatic layers, and these are very sensitive to the infections. That's why we feel this swellings in the tonsils and adenoids whenever we face any infections. Hence, this lymphatic system plays vital role in balancing of the fluids, nutrients, and also it balances the pressure, that is blood pressure, and also it maintains the complete immune system of our body, You know, these lymph vessels are absent in our brain, spinal cord, eyeball, and internal ears, and also in bone marrow. This is about all the transportation done by our cardiovascular system and lymphatic system, which are very important in our circulatory system. Both the cardiovascular and lymphatic system, which are acting very important role in transporting of materials required at cellular level and also eliminating of the waste from the cellular level through a vehicle called the blood and lymph, through a system that is the transportation, the ultimate circulatory system of our body. If anybody met with an accident or a severe injury or any major surgery, if anybody met with an accident or a severe injury or any major surgery in which blood may loss and doctors need blood and some people are donating the blood to those needy. Blood looks same in all, but doctors take only compatible one. About 32 human blood grouping systems are recognized by International Society of Blood Transfusion, in which only two systems are famous, that is ABO system and another one is RH factor system. These blood groups were first discovered by a Austrian scientist in 1900, that is Karl Landsteiner from University of Vienna. In ABO system, the red blood corpuscles carries, that is RBC carries different antigens like A antigen and B antigens, and body produces antibodies against these antigens. You know, that means blood group A means it has A antigen and B group has B antigen, whereas AB group have AB antigens. There are 4 groups in ABO system: O group, A group, B group and AB group. You know, A group have A antigens and B group have B antigens and AB group have AB antigens. O group doesn't have any antigens, but they have antibodies against A and B. That means they can donate blood to any group, but they can receive only from the O group. In the same manner, the A blood group have antigen A and antibodies against B. That means they can receive blood from A and O group, but they can donate only A group and AB group. And in B group consisting of B antigen and antibodies against A. That means they can receive blood from B group or O group, but they can donate blood to the B group and AB group. AB group has both A and B antigens, but they don't have any antibodies. That means they can receive blood from all ABO groups, but they can donate only to the AB group. Here O group can give blood to any group. That means O becomes the universal donor, whereas AB blood group, which can receive any type of blood from all groups, that means AB becomes universal recipient or receptor. The most common group is the O group and the most rare group is the AB group. Till now we understand about the common type of blood groups, how they are transfused one person to another person depends on the compatibility. But in those days, due to blood transfusion, certain patients are saved, but certain patients are died. This question is reason for the receiving of Nobel Prize in 1930 by Karl Landsteiner. You know, the another factor which is also influencing the blood transfusion, that is RH factor, which we call as rhesus factor. This is first identified or discovered in rhesus monkeys, that is RH factor. It is the RH antigen. It is a protein which is present on the surface of the RBC. If this RH factor is present on the surface of RBC, that person is said to be RH positive. If this antigen, RH antigen, is absent on the surface of RBC, that person is said to be RH negative. Throughout the world, about 85% of people are RH positive people. Only 15% of population are RH negative people. And depends on this RH factor, the total 4 group of blood system is classified into 8 groups. That is A positive, B positive, O positive and AB positive. And another one is A negative, B negative, O negative and AB negative. These are the 4 becomes into 8, depends on this RH factor. Due to the presence of RH factors and in these antigens and antibodies, inverts the complete system, the O negative is become the universal donor group, whereas AB positive becomes the universal acceptor or recipient group. This factor become very important in married couple. If they have opposite factored, these factors become very important in married couple who have opposite factored. It mainly influences on the baby's blood group. And if the blood group of both mother and baby are opposite, then it may leads to the severe effect on the development of antigens in babies. It leads to severe anemic condition. Sometimes it becomes more complicated and rarely deaths may occur. In modern lifestyle and also genetic inheritance, almost all this causes certain defects in blood vascular system or transport system. The genetic diseases like thalassemia, hemochromatosis, hemolysis, hemophilia and certain cancers like leukemia, almost all these types of inherited or genetic disorders or lifestyle disorders we may see in the present generations. The lifestyle disorders may cause number of diseases like high BP or low BP, and also it may leads to immune deficiency disorders, and also majorly leads to the obesity, diabetes, heart attacks and also certain CKDs like chronic kidney diseases, and all these things are due to the modern lifestyle and irresponsibility over our habits. All these things are attacking on our transport system. Blood is very important. Try to donate it once in a while and save many lives. Be responsible in your daily activities. Know about your heart and its power, and get inspired from this amazing transportation. And we will meet and discuss about a miraculous transport system in our plants. Until then, bye bye. See you soon. Thank you.